Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Uh, I'd like to respond to Dinesh Sharma, and I must, Honorable, and I must thank him for his pertinent question. I'm aware that Honorable Sharma, being a graduate from India, is well acquainted with the quality of training and education taught in India. Mr. Speaker, I must say that the first of its kind educational trip for our cane farmers to India was indeed a great success and a fruitful one for all the participants. Firstly, I'd like to convey my deepest gratitude to the Government of India for sponsoring the 2 weeks training for all its 18 participants, including 14 cane farmers and 4 officials from the Sugarcane Growers Council. These 14 farmers included 4 female and 10 male farmers that are actively growing and supplying cane to the mills. My sincerest appreciation goes to the National Sugar Institute of Kanpur for hosting our participants and arranging all logistics for our delegates. For the information of this August House, the Fiji Sugar Corporation has recently signed a memorandum of understanding with the National Institute of Kanpur to acquire the benefits from the training for the FSA mills and staffs. The comprehensive 2-week training, Mr. Speaker, was made possible by the Sugarcane Growers Council with the exceptional support of the Indian High Commission in Fiji. The discussions began in 2023 with the submission of a proposal by the Sugarcane Growers Council to the Indian High Commission, which was well received and considered to be fully funded by the Government of India under the Indian Technical Economic Cooperation Program. Mr. Speaker, upon receiving the approval from the Government of India, the Sugarcane Growers Council management identified participants based on selection criteria approved by the Council. The criteria included the need to a balanced gender, ethnic mix, and need for a representation of farmers across the cane producing areas. The 14 farmers selected are progressive farmers and influential in the farming communities as lead farmers. Mr. Speaker, the cane growers of Fiji have been continuously provided with the various training by the Fiji Sugar Corporation, the Sugar Research Institute of Fiji, through the farm field schools and demonstration trials. However, there is a need to provide exposure to these farmers to other cane producing countries, especially India, as one of the largest producer of sugarcane. As we say, seeing is believing. Therefore, such international exposure provided an opportunity for our farmers to attain modern cane farming practices and technologies available, improving yields. The 2-week training, Mr. Speaker, was a tailor-made to fulfill the needs of the capacity and requirements of our farmers. The participants visited various sites, including research institutes, sugar factories, attended field days, and had interaction sessions with successful farmers and visited their farms in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Mr. Speaker, as highlighted, the objective of the program was to provide an international exposure to our farmers. Uttar Pradesh was preferred choice as they have the same language as a medium of exchange that eased communication and similar farming practices and is the largest sugarcane producing state in India. During the research, the mills visits, the participants were able to learn about the adaptation of the new improved cane varieties, effective crops management practices, crop diversification opportunities, practice of crop rotation and intercropping, best and weed management practices, soil health, plant nutrition, and farm mechanization. In principle, the participants gain insight of the methods to enhance cane activity, model farm setup, fertilizer application, disease control, weed management, and integrated approaches combining traditional knowledge with modern technologies and with sustainable cane production. In specific, Mr. Speaker, the key attributes of learning were hands-on learning for farmers to experience both the sugar mill operations and the farm practices that will provide deeper understanding of how farmers' actions on farms affect the quality and quantity of cane, subsequently sugar make at the mills. Holistic approach, Mr. Speaker, the farmers learned how integrating mills and farm visits encourage them to adopt holistic approach to sugarcane cultivation and to optimize yield, including learning about the preparation and different planting methods. The importance of planting quality cane, adoption of good crop husbandry practices, and importance of soil analysis and plant nutrients. Visitation, Mr. Speaker, to farms allowed farmers to identify and tailor solutions to address specific solutions or opportunities unique on their farms. Mr. Speaker, exposure to a range of practices encourage farmers to innovate and adapt approach in response to changing market trends, technological advancements, and environmental considerations. Mr. Speaker, say it is essential for a long-term sustainability in the strengthening of the growers' commitment to remain competitive in the sugar industry. The learnings from models of the crop diversification, intercropping, and crop rotation have certainly broadened our farmers' understanding on the possibilities of improving revenue and profit enhanced in farm sustainability. Mr. Speaker, understanding the importance of harvesting and selective harvesting of matured cane and green cane harvesting to improve sugar recovery and revenue diversification to the mills. The visits to the mills, Mr. Speaker, allowed farmers to understand the importance of diversification into cogeneration, ethanol production, refined sugar production, and value addition into the specialty sugar, something that I have been planning for our sugar industry. Mr. Speaker, having acquired the necessary knowledge, our 14 farmers are now required to practice and share their learnings with the fellow farmers under prudent monitoring structure by the Growers Council. The 4 officials of Growers Council were part of the tour team on ways to learn on the ways and practice whereby they learned ways to improve services and delivery to support our farmers. Mr. Speaker, we must note that the sugarcane is a permanent crop and requires 14 to 16 months to mature. Therefore, we must not expect miracles to happen by tomorrow on the farms of these 14 farmers. The new planting season begins this month, and I expect these farmers to plant new cane and begin applying their knowledge on their farms, which they have learned in India. Therefore, we can expect positive results from 2025 harvesting season. Mr. Speaker, as I mentioned, Sugarcane Growers Council staffs will work very closely with the Research Institute of Fiji and FSC to monitor the progress of these 14 farmers, including those in the nearby communities, to assess efficiency and capacity building. I'm informed that these farmers have already outlined their plans and will showcase it to the fellow farmers in the communities through field days with the support of Sugar Research Institute. To conclude, Mr. Speaker, such educational trip was the first of its kind, but not the last one. We will continue to have dialogue with the Government of India to make this program an ongoing for farmers. Thank you.